I guess for a lot of migrant and refugee children, and I can't speak for all of them, but what I noticed myself as a child who came to the country not speaking English, there's a lot of grappling with how do I navigate the external world with school and all the sort of adults and people I don't really know who don't really, I guess, speak the same way as I do or have the same cultural conditions or background. And then how do I navigate my home world where I'm sort of picking up all these things like independence and rebellion and thinking a little bit differently outside of the home and then trying to apply it inside the home. So I think a lot of, I mean, even today, I think there was like a recent article in the newspaper about how second generation kids get a lot of, cultural pressure from their parents to be a certain way, but every other impulse in their life is telling them to be the complete opposite. So I was trying to capture that. And I think a lot of fiction for kids still doesn't get that, that intersection between feeling like an outsider, but having to pretend like you're an insider during the day, but you're usually just an outsider because you don't sort of have the cultural capital or you don't have the language to navigate things properly, like someone possibly who was born here. So yeah, it's trying to deal with that, and that's why there's a lot of tension because it's like, why do we have to do things this way? And there's a lot of questioning about cultural backgrounds, and there's a lot of good that you can get from your cultural background, but there's a lot of entrenched stuff that we haven't thought about for in the Chinese culture thousands of years. We haven't sort of critiqued, why do we do it like this, why are women treated like this? And so even though it's like a novel for sort of like upper middle grade, lower YA, it's taking all those questions about, but why do we do things like this? Is it necessarily the right way or the best way to do something? Is this the best way to raise your daughter? Is this the best way to treat your wife? It's all those sort of big questions, but just in a very sort of domestic, quiet looking narrative.
Mm. And is there a message that you'd like readers to take away from the book?
For this book, like I just wanted kids who are possibly in that situation where they're feeling a little bit torn or a little bit hopeless with the way home life is, or the unsafety of their own conditions, to get the feeling that one day they will have the fluency that they're craving, one day they'll be able to bust out of the box that they've been put in, and that there's a lot of hope. Like, you should never sort of lose hope. And so there's one character in the novel where she has totally utterly given up hope, and you can see sort of all the ramifications of actually doing that. But if you look at the story arcs for the characters who don't give up hope, you can see that their future is actually wide open. It doesn't look like that at the beginning, but it gets sort of bigger for them, and their paths kind of, they really do widen out. And so that's the kind of story I wanted to give to kids. It's, don't feel like this, the way you are now is the way you will always be. You actually will have a chance to grow and change and experience different things in life.